everybody. Today is a very special day because we are with an amazing chocolate maker who is in
Brazil. Hello, pessoal.
Luisa Abram. Finally, we are with Luisa Abram. She's the first Brazilian chocolate maker selling her chocolates in Spain. So the first thing that I want to tell you, Luisa, is welcome to Spain. Thank you for sending us your chocolate, your amazing bar. I really, really love it. So, could you tell me a little bit about your the brand that have your name?
Everyone, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to present the work that we do here in Brazil across the world. So we are a family company. My mom, my dad, and my sister, they work with me closely. And we uh, go to the Amazon to find wild cacao. What is wild cacao? Is um, the cacao that was planted by nature. No human was interfered. No human interfered in the cacao trees. So we, since 2014, we do we travel to the Amazon to get the cacao, to teach the locals how to ferment and dry, and then we have this cacao coming from all the way from the Amazon to São Paulo, across Brazil, to make the bars here in the factory.
The Brazilian cacao was really affected by a fungus called which. But now the industry is recovering, and we can see people like you who are doing an amazing job working with cacao from Brazil. So you have hundreds of bean to bar chocolate maker, and especially you work with a rare cacao, a wild cacao from the Amazon. And I know that you have a nice story with the cacao of your country. How was the first step with the cacao of your country?
I went to culinary school in 2013 and 2014. And in culinary school, as I had little time to decide what I was going to do, I decided to search for Brazilian ingredients because I didn't want to do the same as many others, which is completing the classes and then going to Europe and then returning and opening a boulangerie, a shop here in Brazil. I realized that a lot of girls and boys had the same dream. So I went to search for Brazilian ingredients. I went to search for something that I could make a difference, not only in my life, but in others' lives. So that's when I found the cacao. That's when I found that Brazil was native to cacao. So I went to search, and um, I really went into the Amazon to really know the process and the people that were involved in this process. And I got enchanted by it.
Yeah,
And
you found the best ingredient of Brazil.
and then I realized that in every corner in the Amazon where you have a river, you have cacao, because cacao is likes water very much. So I could see a glimpse of how many terroirs, different terroirs, I would have if I could work with cacao, wild cacao. So that really was one of my motivations, was to work with an ingredient genuinely Brazilian, and an ingredient that I could bring an experience to the clients who eat the cacao, the chocolate, and I could tell a story through the product, and really, how can I say, straighten the gap between the world and the Amazon.
Now I have to say that we are really worried about the COVID situation in Brazil. How does this situation affect your work? I suppose now you can travel to the Amazon. Of course, you have to be careful. But I'm sure you have something in mind to help to all the cacao producer that you work with.
Unfortunately, we had to stop traveling since March last year. I used to travel like 9 times per year to the Amazon. But now I am trying my best to let everyone know that we are still here. We still want to help everyone. So we are buying, not necessarily more. Um, in some communities, we are buying more because we are selling more chocolate in the pandemic. I guess people are consuming more, are eating more chocolate. But in some communities, because it's a wild product, you don't have it every year. So we try to help in our best way. So communication is um, a big thing for us. So sometimes they don't have the cell phone um, cell phone like working towers in the communities. So we have to wait for them to go to the city in order for us to really talk to them. But we try to help in many ways. We try to raise money to buy another boat, or get money for them to buy another piece of land so they can get more cacao or more acai. Or we encourage people that are abroad to make donations through the SOS Amazonia website. It's an ONG. We work closely with them. NGO, sorry. It's an NGO. We work really closely with them. And if you want to make a donation, just go to their website and donate. And don't forget just to put a comment that you want that resource to go to the cacao chain. And yeah, we try to do everything that we can. Everything, we try to really um, make sure that they know that we are still here. We still want to um, continue buying from them. We still want to help them. And yeah, like everyone, we are genuine and we want to make a difference.
In Spain, we can find your chocolate, and that is a kind of miracle because I mean, the trip that had made that kind of cacao is too long. And but since the beginning, you always try to export your bars. So Brazil have a huge market. Why do you want to sell your chocolate in other countries? Before you tell me that, I want to tell you that it's a gift to a chocolate lover because it's the opportunity to taste the real flavor of cacao from Amazon. So please tell me, why do you want to sell your chocolate in other countries?
So I want to really bring new experiences to all my clients. And I guess the market outside Brazil is more mature in terms of where does the food come from? What is the history of it? Is there another layer? Um, it's not just a really good and nice product. What is the story about it? So people are now shifting the perspective of consume, and they try to also buy the story. They are trying now to make an impact in everything that they choose. So and the markets in the clients in Europe and in the US are more propense to really spend a bit more, but have all the story and all the the baggage that it comes with the product. So I find it easier to sell abroad, but really my sales are 50-50, so 50% here in Brazil and 50% abroad.
Tried almost all the chocolate bars that you shipped to Spain, and I had to say that my favorite was the white one. But I really love white chocolate because it's like a canvas. There are not too many real white chocolate in the world. Help to our viewers who believe that white chocolate is not chocolate, that we could have an amazing white chocolate too.
So white chocolate is one of the things that is really like polemic, I would say. But we try to really make a really good white chocolate because as in the dark chocolates in our brand, the cacao is the main star. In our milk bars and our white bars, the milk is the star. And we went a long way to find the milk that we wanted to use in our bars. So the milk, that's the powder milk that we use, it's not a milk that you can find in the shelf of a supermarket. You really have to go go and get the milk from the cows, and then it's three processes that we have to synchronize. They all have to occur in like a 6 hour time, and which is the taking off the milk, the milk of the cow, and then pasteurizing it and then drying it. It needs to all be in the same day, very synchronized. So it's pure, it's creamy, and it has a different taste, and we value that a lot. We don't really want to get the product from the shelf and then, you know, like I said in the beginning, do the same as others are doing. We want to differentiate ourselves. So this is why we went to so far to get the milk that we use in our bars.
The bestseller in the industry is still milk chocolate. So I suppose that you in Brazil love to. Which you don't encourage to all the bean to bar chocolate maker to create more chocolate bar with milk.
Milk chocolate is the most consumed in the world. And as a businesswoman, I can't ignore that. I can't say, oh no, I'm not going to shut the door to any client that I have. Um, so I always say, I don't want to be small. I want to be big. I want to have an impact in all my origins and also in my meal producer. So um, what's what difference I will be making in buying one bag of cacao from a buyer? I want to buy 10 tons from each buyer, and then I will know that I am really making a difference. My company is really making a difference in the microcosmos of the economy of the Amazon. We are preserving more because the locals are not gonna destroy anything or allow it to be destroyed, like sell it, and then, you know, like they are gonna be able to make a living out of the forest. So I really encourage my fellow bean to bar makers to think big, because that's in that way we will make a difference.
Yeah.
So the milk bars, it's the same, it's the most consumed chocolate in the world. I can't ignore that as a businesswoman. I have to make a way to really please my customers. So that's why I have the milk line since the
Yeah.
end of 2019.
White one and the milk one is amazing. So you study gastronomy. So when I think we can see that in your bar, how do you understand the bean to bar chocolate industry being a pastry chef? I feel that it's very clear your background when we see your chocolate, but I want that you tell me a little more.
Went to culinary school. Everyone, I started making chocolate. I was still in school, and everyone thought I was mad. I was like crazy mad because I was going for an industry, as everyone was elaborating a restaurant in their minds, a boutique, a boulangerie. I was going towards industry. I was going towards big machinery, um, big, large, as if you can call it large. you know, I was going for something out of the ordinary. So people really thought that I was crazy. And when my first bars, my chefs and my colleagues were my guinea pigs, and 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 they were like almost spitting the chocolate in front of me because it was so bad. Like no one starts making wonderful, um when you start something from scratch, it's not going to be pretty at the
Yeah.
first times. So but I didn't give up. I persevered, and I wanted to make chocolate with Brazilian cacao. Everyone was saying to me that Brazilian cacao sucked, but I was like, no way. There's no way that it's like simple black and white like that. Like, so I went to really search for cacao and for like how could I make that into a beautiful bar that would um, tell a story, um, and not just the flavor of it, but really tell a story. So um, in gastronomy, I wanted to differentiate myself. I didn't want to do the same as everyone else. What difference would I make in the world if I do the same that everyone is trying to achieve? So this is why I went to the Amazon. The Amazon is the birthplace Mother Nature created to have cacao grow in it. And it's so special that we as human beings, we consume chocolate for millenniums, and we still can find chocolate in its nature, in its integrity. You can't find a tomato, a wild tomato, or a wild apple, wild lettuce, but you really can find chocolate. And if you really think, um, which other crops in the world can you find in its native state that it's largely consumed by humans? I can only think of tea and coffee in Yemen, and cacao. Other than these three, it starts to become really hard to find like a wild, genuine ingredient. So, and really, the Amazon is the birthplace to so many things. Can you imagine if we, as Brazilians, we would bet more in the Amazon? how many ingredients would we find that would be largely consumed, like acai, for example, the acai berry,
Yeah.
so, or the Brazil nut, or, we have a lot of things, but we really don't, unfortunately, we as a population, as a citizen in Brazil, we are not encouraged to go to the Amazon and to have businesses related to the Amazon. I think our governments should really pay attention more to that aspect of Brazil. I think we have something so rich and something that must be preserved, but they don't really
Yeah.
pay attention to it. So it's a shame. Um, but I think I'm trying to do my part here.
Yeah, but I'm absolutely sure that was a right decision because you have a chocolate bar with 4 awards, four of one of the most important awards of the world. Um, how does affect the way you work? I mean, the awards, the prizes, the do you believe in omelette? Because I feel that you will need it to keep this flavor. It's amazing. Yeah, that bar. Could you tell me a little more about that bar?
So
So
that bar, we met the people from Juruá
mhm,
in 2016, and our first harvest from that origin came 2 years later. So, as you can see, to open an origin, it's not an easy process. It's not. My recently I recently launched an orange bar. It's not in Spain yet, but it took me 5 years to launch that bar. So with Juruá, for example, Juruá is scarce. It's rare, and if you find a bar, buy it. Buy the
now
whole pack.
it's sold out in Spain. It's sold out. So please, you have to send more.
um, because it's so rare. This year, it flooded 3 times. I want to say 3 times, and the river was high, 14 meters. Can you imagine 14 meters of water in a month time? So the harvest is now. It was supposed to happen now, but it's not happening because nature is like, no, 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 giving me a big no. And that's why if you find a bar and you really like the bar, just buy it, because you never know if next year you will have that bar in your shelf. So Juruá was a collaboration between us, Luisa Abram um, company, and NGO SOS Amazonia, and a consultant in fermentation. His name is Dan O'Dorothy. He lives in Hawaii. He's American, and it was a collaboration between us. I I want to say forehand job, because us, SOS Amazonia, Dan, and the community. So also nature. So
Yeah.
I would say five-hand job. And it was amazing, because it was really the bar that won all the prizes was their first harvest, and not every I never worked with an origin that got it right from the first time, except for Juruá. So it's hard to get the fermentation and the drying process right. So I guess joining forces with all these amazing people really paid off. And um, as I say, Juruá is one of our babies, and
Yeah,
it's
probably that bar is your amulet.
yeah.
Yeah,
We we also make genetic testings in all of our cacao that we work, and we recently found out that Juruá is a new family, so new genetics. So because the genetics in the Amazon are not vastly researched, so we we took upon ourselves to get the genetics of every product that we work with.
Had you ever been in Spain? Is there any flavor that you know from Spain and could inspire you to make a special edition just for us?
So I've never been in Spain. I had my ticket booked to Madrid September last year. So unfortunately, with all the pandemic, I couldn't go. But my great grandmother, her surname was Algranati, which is from Granada. So my relatives are from Spain, and I'm trying to get the passport because all the story with the Jewish and everything. So I'm Jewish. Um, so I'm trying to get my passport, but with all the COVID situation, it's getting a little harder than we expected in the beginning. So I still own I still had the trip to
Yeah.
Spain, but I wouldn't say necessarily there's an special ingredient that I would pair with the chocolate, maybe jamon. I don't know, but I I love a brand called Spinaler, which
Mhm.
is mejillones.
Yeah.
And the story behind the company, it's a family company. It's hand-picked mejillones, and when you open the can, everything is
Amazing.
so like
Yeah, yeah.
precise and
You
perfect.
definitely.
I really want to travel to Spain. I love traveling. I think that's pretty much an overstatement. I love traveling, but especially to really when I travel, I try to get the story of the place. I try to get the culture and the daily day life that the people of that country they live. I don't really like doing touristic stuff. I prefer to have a local show me like the nice pub over there, or or that interesting story behind the community or something like that. So um, I promise that when I go, I will let you know. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm the director of the Salón del Chocolate de Madrid, so you are completely invited to come here because it's gonna be amazing having you here, especially because now a lot of chocolate lovers know your chocolate because we have I mean, the opportunity to taste. So it's curious that your bar have traveled first than you.
yeah, my bar went to places that I didn't, like France and now Dubai. So I wanna go in the shipment. I wanna go in the box together with the
Wow,
bars for
it's
sure.
amazing. It's kind of a miracle because I mean, if you are in Dubai or in London or in Madrid, you can taste the flavor of the Amazon. So it's I mean, for me, it's always I think as a miracle because I mean, it's a lot of work involved in each bar because
Yeah.
a lot of cacao producer, logistic, and you chocolate maker, and a lot of things that, and even your distributor. I mean, they trust you. They think that it could work. So for me, it's amazing, and I love to buy the chocolate from around the world because this is a kind of miracle now to have a, you know, the taste of Brazil, a country that I love, just in a chocolate bar. Thank you for
Yeah.
make that miracle.
Thank you for getting all my story and to really passing along, because there is um, there is no better marketing than having another person vouch for your product.
Yeah.
It's really important. The word of mouth, it's really what makes a difference in our brand. In the first years, we didn't really had the marketing budget
Yeah.
for it, so we really tried to have a strong story behind it, so people would want to really propagate, want to say, look, this, it comes from the Amazon, it preserves the Amazon, the locals, it gives an income for the locals and everything. So and also has the aspect of a tropical country, and it really, you can travel through taste. And
Especially now.
in these times where you can't travel anywhere,
Yeah.
traveling through taste seems a good option.
Yeah. Would you like to tell to all the chocolate lovers here in Europe and especially in Spain why they have to taste your chocolate at least once?
I guess the chocolate that we make, we have so much passion on it, we have so much love for what we do, and we really try to get this in every single bar that we produce. And as I say, when you buy a chocolate bar from Luisa Abram, you're not buying just the chocolate, you're buying a story, you're contributing to preserving the Amazon, you are having in a most direct way you can possibly think, you are bringing an income for people that live in the Amazon, and people that are don't want to destroy the Amazon, they want to work with the Amazon, with the forest standing up, which is very beautiful. And also you get the pleasure of a nice chocolate that it's really rare, and
Yeah.
not everyone can taste it and have the opportunity. So feel blessed that we that you are tasting the chocolate, and that you're alive, because really you can make a difference in a small of an action that you do. You are really making a difference, not just in my life, but in the life of the people that live in the Amazon.
Yeah, in my chocolate tasting, I always say that sometimes it's so easy make the world better. Just eating chocolate.
It's very easy to make the world better, very easy. So
Well,
thank you so much for the
thank you so
opportunity.
much. Brand Luisa Abram is the first Brazilian chocolate maker who is are selling her amazing chocolate bar in Spain. So we are really lucky to have your brand here. I know that is a big effort that you are doing now because I know that you have a lot of things to do. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being here because now you are in Spain and your chocolate too. And I hope you can come very soon to Spain. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And
Okay.
I also would like to comment that your background is so, like, it's perfect. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
But
Thank
it
you.
is from Vietnam. It's not Brazil. I mean, the next time I will have another one from Brazil. Everybody want to use.
It's different, and I love it. But
Oh,
it shows the diversity of cacao. You
yeah,
have
yeah, the
reds, you have
color. Bueno, un gusto.